and this wider family. And we've always had this phrase that it takes a village to raise a child. And we've lost the village. I think people live more isolated. There's more pressure on parents. There's more pressure on two people having to do everything for a child. And so that's become something that's been more difficult. And another challenge that I think we face also is now we expect more from our partners than ever before. Before, if you had a problem, you'd have your sister, you'd go to your mom, you'd go to your dad, you'd go to your friends. But now we ask our partner about everything, and our partner has to be a business partner. They have to be our life coach. They have to be our Instagram husband or wife. They have to play every role in our lives. And it can be quite overwhelming to be everything.
That's what I found interesting is you talk about sort of the support system, but as Indians, we're familiar with that because in India, culturally, we come from this joint family system. But what you're saying, is that true to Western culture as well?
I would say that there's definitely a shift in that there is definitely, from people that I know, friends that I have that grew up in the West, definitely feel like family was far more involved than they are now. And I think people are seeing that feeling of being isolated, especially as people move to different cities and move to different countries. And, you know, even if you look at me and Radhi, like, we've moved to LA, which is 10 hours away from London, even though I'm in London right now. And I think about that. We often talk about this, like, when we have kids, like, how will they see family often? Like, it'll just be me and you. And then obviously we have good friends, but it's still different. And so I think that's a very big discussion and conversation, even as an Indian who grew up, and Radhi grew up with all of her family, like 5 minutes away. And now we're thinking about, when we're thinking about having kids, we're like, oh my gosh, but our kids aren't going to have that. So how are we going to navigate that? So even as an Indian living in LA, I'm having the same conversation.
How much do you think the movies have played a role? We spoke about how love and relationships have evolved over a period of time. You know, we've spoken about how culturally and, you know, our dependency on our partners are changing, evolving. How much do you think, you know, the movies, entertainment, music, how much of that has influenced where we are today, but also our original idea of love?
Yeah, so, you know, I'm a big fan of Bollywood, and I'm a big fan of your movies too, obviously. And I think you've actually done quite a few movies that have a real undertone to relationships. You know, I think you've played so many roles that have a connected, like, relevant way of portraying love. So I don't think that all movies are portraying love in an unhealthy way. At the same time, I was born in '87, and the '90s were full of, like, the like really intense romantic movies where love was just this special thing. And I grew up as a huge Shah Rukh Khan fan, and, you know, you watch Shah Rukh's movies and you want to fall in love in that way. And
yeah, you want to fall in love with Raj and Rahul.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to be Raj. As a guy, you want to be Raj.
And that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, a lot of pressure. And I think that I often tried to be Raj and failed. Or you try, right? Or you try and find someone perfect that also doesn't work. And so what I found was that I think the ideologies that I think unhealthy ones I'd like to point out, not movies, but the ideologies. I think a lot of ideologies were the damsel in distress, that the woman is lost, she's confused, she's stuck, and then a man is going to come and save her. I think that ideology is an unhealthy ideology that exists in some movies, that you have a woman who's completely lost. And the other idea is that you're broken and someone is going to fix you. So you see a lot of movies where one of the characters, it could be a man, it could be a woman, they're broken and that they're lost and stuck. But as soon as they met a woman, that changed their life, or as soon as they meet someone, it changes their life. And I think those ideologies is what we need to extract. Movies are entertaining. I love movies. I get so much from them. And I don't think we should ever stop making entertaining, amazing movies. Yeah. But I think as a viewer, we have to discern and we have to know the difference between this is fun, it's entertaining, it's amazing. But then in my real life, I shouldn't take this ideology and think I'm broken or a man is going to come and save me, or someone's going to come and save me, or that there's going to be violins playing when I have a proposal, or that there's going to be this beautiful, you know, outfit change in the middle of my wedding, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think like that idea of perfection, right? Like sometimes the guy is proposing to you and he drops the ring, or I don't know, like I think just the idea of perfection that, you know, that we were talking about, I think we need to manage expectations, and like you said, I think answer the three most important questions. How have you and Radhi sort of, you know, your relationship, and both of you are busy and both of you are traveling, and how have you managed your relationship?
Yeah, it's been hard, right? It's challenging. It's not easy when you live busy separate lives with work, or you live across countries, because Radhi wants to be in family with London sometimes. I'm in LA. We've talked about that many times.
Yeah.
And I find that that's why it takes a lot of communication around a few things. The first thing is we need to communicate around what we're going through right now. So often I'll say to Radhi, hey, you know what? For the next month, I'm going to be traveling. I want you to know that I love you, that I'm here for you, that I care about you. If you ever need me, I'll drop everything and be here. But I'm going to be preoccupied for the next month. I just want to make you aware. And I think often we don't communicate in a caring, compassionate way. We just do our life.
Yeah.
And then a month later, our say that again?
And then assume that both partners are on the same page.
Exactly. Yeah, we assume that our partner just understands, they know, they'll figure it out, but we have to communicate that. I think a second thing I'd say is that we have to communicate who our partner is and how much they mean to us every day, every week. I think often we don't say, I love you in a deep way. We may just throw it around and say, oh, I love you, bye. Like, but to really express to our partners what we appreciate about them, what we value about them.